Welcome, my name is Ryan Belkov, and today we are going to talk about strain index. So this is for my ergonomics class. We'll get started. So our objectives, you should be able to describe when you're using the strain index, what kind of risks does it approximate, and what recommendations come from it. So the strain index, this is one that's actually in your book. So if you go to Bridger, it's actually the old. So we'll go through both of them. So on page 183. So this gives the examples so you can follow along with in the book as well. The strain index looked at the first one of five different um, outcomes. So looking at force, so the exertion, repetition, how many efforts per minute, duration that cycle was, as well as the hand wrist postures and the duration of the task if they were working like 8 hours a day. So it originally started with the strain index in 1995, but as you can see, there's an update here in 2017. So for those ergonomics that use the hand quite a bit, the strain index is very common. I know one of my mentors, Dr. Gilkey, he has studied this strain index and helped contribute to the update. So the strain index, at least the old one, let's look at all six factors. So we have the intensity, so how much force that the worker is saying. So we could go light or near maximal at 100%. Duration of that cycle, so less than 10 or more than 80 repetitions. Again, the effort per minute as well as the hand posture. So good would be, very straight, not bent at all. Very bad is fully flexed, either or extension, or the same goes for radial or ulnar deviation. Speed of work, this is consistent on your judgment. Are they keeping pace? Is it self-paced? So you could say very slow, or if a machine's going very fast. And then the duration per day, so out of an 8 hour workday. So this is the old worksheet from the strain index. So you can see this one comes from North Carolina, and you can go through it, but we'll mostly do the newer version. So the revised strain index in 2017, looking at very similar outcomes with intensity, expression, duration, rest posture, and duration. Really two things that improved. So they had a big study looking at almost 14,000 tasks with the revised strain index. And so they did see good agreement with the original in 1995, but the hazard score was 7 and now it's 10. So it made it a little less cautious, as well as this revised strain index. I use a continuous rather than the multipliers replacing the duty cycle per expression. So just to, read this off, repeating that. So the revised strain index effort per minute are calculated by counting the number of expressions. So either on your phone or a stopwatch, you could actually, count those per second to get very precise. And then it's observed period divided by the sum of the duration of how many minutes. So then the number of exertions is counted by a counter. So this is that revised strain index. And so as you can see, hazardous is above a 10 and below a 10 is safe. So duration of expression again is measured in seconds. That is the average time that expression is applied, and then you want to divide that by the total exposure time to get you the count. So again, we have the average duration of exposure calculated by dividing the total time. Again, we're talking about seconds by the number of exertions counted by the observation. So ACGIH was very happy with the revision in 2017, and they found it a very valuable tool. I hope if you're using hands, this is a tool that you consider. And so one of the studies that I thought was pretty cool is how they looked at different types of keyboard and, looking at like a split one versus a normal size one, looking at how many high repetitions versus the force used. So the revised stereo index is a subjective tool, but I encourage you to use it because it has been validated by a number of studies. Take a look at this YouTube video and see if you can do this assessment. So this is one where they're doing wrappings around a beer bottle, putting the caps on it around a six-pack. So I'll go through example on this one, some things you can't calculate because it's not a video. So on this one, so using the board scale, so this is the observer. So what you would rank it, not asking them. And so you're going to rank the left and right side. And so when the students actually evaluated this, they said, all right, it was pretty light on putting this bottle cap for the whole duration. So a 2 on both right and left side. And then for expressions per minute, you can see the 7 totally exerted by a total time of 15 seconds on the left side, pretty similar on the right side, only 8 expressions over the 15. And then for the duration expression, so that's just the 7 by over the 15 gives you the 22%, and the 8 over the 15 gives you the 28%. So for flexion, as you can see, both sides, the left and right, had flexion on there. So the last outcome on this is the duration of day. So most workers are working 8 hours a day, so it's a one. But if it's a 4 hour, half that, um, that last duration multipliers by 0.76. So we looked at the final outcomes here, looking at 8 versus 4 versus 2 hours a day. So in reality, this job, they actually only worked 2 hours a day because, going using an arm and lifting and pulling is actually that's a long day for 8 hours. So at eight, you could see they're in the hazard zone at 12.8. Remember, anything above a 10 is hazardous. If it was four, it's nudging up against that is at 9.7. 2 hours is really what the workers were doing, and so that's at 7.9. So again, just like all these ergonomic assessments, they have pluses and minuses. What was the most hazardous, and try to attack that. Can you eliminate or can you substitute what their task is? So after the students made a presentation on it, they knew it was hazardous. That's why they restricted them to 2 hours. So their elimination was exam, high-tech equipment, a machine that would, put that top six-pack wrapper on it for them. And so, benefits of better sales and growth and capital investment. So hopefully you feel more comfortable with the strain index going through this lecture to be able to the categories is it in the danger zone above that 10 on the revised, and what kind of recommendations you can give to the employer. Thank you.